What's up, Impact? Welcome to night 2 of Impact Virtual Summer, the challenge. Yesterday, we did the What's in Your Mouth challenge. Today, we did a different challenge. We were challenged to go to Subway and to create a signature sub for each of us. So what we did is we went to Subway. And we had some amazing people. It was Dakota and
Susan.
Dakota and Susan at the Walmart Subway were amazing. We went up and said, listen, y'all, it's about to get crazy in the Subway because we are going to create subs for each other that we know the other person is going to absolutely detest. So we have added ingredients that we know each of us cannot stand to each of these subs. And now we are going to be challenged to take a bite and keep it down of each of these subs sitting in front of us. So, without further ado, we are going to start out with what we call the Colossus, which is what Chris will be eating here in a minute.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, to get a picture in your head of how this is rolling, to make sure that none of us got anything that we actually liked, Phil and I created Chris's sandwich. Chris and Phil created my sandwich, and then me and Chris created Phil's sandwich. Right, so that's the way this is rolling. We had to sit there in the Subway line in agony as we watched our sandwich be made, and it was just awful. You'll get to see the other two sandwiches here in a minute, but we need to get going with the Colossus. Chris, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm not ready, no, but you know, challenges are painful, they're nasty, they suck. Y'all are probably going through some challenges right now that suck. I don't have another word for this, I'm sorry, but it's just not always fun with the challenges we face in life, and this is not fun at all. At least I got my boys to kind of help me go through this. I don't really know if they're helping me though.
We helped you a lot, don't worry.
We're
here to help. So Chris is
go ahead and unwrap that puppy. Let's see what we're working with while we describe what we did. So we know that Chris hates fake bacon. So what I mean by fake bacon is that like rubbery, weird strip that you get at restaurants and sandwich shops.
Breaking the plate.
And it's even worse when it's cold and it's not heated up. So we didn't even heat up the bacon. We got like quadruple the bacon. So it's like this thick full of the fake rubbery bacon. Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We put it in a wrap instead of a bun. We also know that Chris loves onions, and by loves I mean hates. So we got like 7 handfuls of onions on this thing.
And then to finish it all off, we know Chris loves spicy food. So we went ahead.
Look at this,
we went ahead and got about 7 handfuls of jalapenos
and
put on
pickles.
this baby. And pickles.
Oh my goodness, man.
So the
Chris,
Colossus,
can you give us a cross section? Like cut that sucker open and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
All right, here we go. Chris is taking away the Colossus. All of your favorite things, Chris. Go ahead and take a bite, bro.
Oh, it smells so bad.
Oh, it smells. Oh.
The smell in this room right now is
But you
awful.
know, somebody watching this is like, that's my pita. That's what I'm making.
Oh, that's their sandwich,
bro.
man.
This is your. Oh, okay, take it, dude. Go, bro. Oh, he held his nose. It ain't gonna help. It ain't gonna help. Oh. Here he
Backfire.
goes. Oh, and it hits the back of the throat, dude. Oh, come on, come on, come on.
Get it down. Don't think about it.
Let's go, let's go. Oh!
Massage your chest. Massage your chest. Massage your chest.
Come on. Don't think of a happy thought. You are. Oh,
Get it
gosh.
down. You got it.
Oh,
You got it.
Oh, gosh.
You got it.
Get ready to cut, Zach. This
Get it
is
down.
getting real ugly. Oh, come on.
Oh,
He did it. He did it. Yes.
Oh, it's even worse after, man. I'd rather do the hot ones.
No. Oh, really?
No, it's gonna get worse.
Oh, the flavor. Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh. All right, so next, Chris was gonna do this segue, but I'm pretty sure he's in a little bit of pain and agony right now. So I will introduce and segue into our next Subway special, which we are calling the Little Richard. to describe the Little Richard to you, what we did is we wanted to get the highest quality meat we possibly could. So when we were at Subway, we saw this meat that looked a lot like what you would probably call mystery meat.
Mystery meat.
Turns out that it actually was rib meat, but it looked like a set of ribs that you had left outside for about 5 years in the hot sun, had molded, hardened back up, molded, hardened back up, and then we put that on there. We also said, and this was Chris's idea, man, since Jake loves vegetables so much, we would get
He's a fan.
I do love vegetables.
an all veggie meat patty
I'm not a fan of that.
to go in there as well. And so to put them together, Chris, we used a type of paste to get the,
We
what
had
was
a really good paste. You know, Jake's a swimmer. He likes the ocean, loves seafood.
he loves.
So, you know, in his roots, it's just in his blood. So we said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get you some tuna. The chicken of the sea. So we decided to go ahead and, you know, between each layer, I think it was Dakota, bless her, incredible sandwich artist. Her and Susan are the best at Subway. And she said, do you know what? Do you want this sandwich is so bad? But do you want some tuna in between the veggie patty and the rib? Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely. So,
She used like an ice cream scoop.
oh yeah, it was big.
I mean, it was too hefty.
It was. And then on top of that, if you remember, since Jake loves eggs,
Yes.
you know, he loves eggs all the time.
We threw an egg white.
Egg white had to go on top of it as well. So
And we couldn't quite decide which sauce that Jake wanted, so we went ahead and just said, why don't you put a little bit of every sauce that you have on this?
and they had that one sauce that said, hey, ask me about this sauce.
Yes,
so
we
we said, hey, we're going to ask you about this sauce here, Dakota. Tell us about this sauce.
And then we're gonna have you put it on his sub. So, without further ado,
that right there.
without further ado, Jake is about to take a bite of the Little Richard.
Oh God!
Get ready to cut again, Zach.
Do it for a little.
Oh my lord! It looks so bad.
Oh, Richard, don't do it to him. You got
It's
the
like
olives.
it's
He loves the olives,
it's the
remember?
inside of the rotted fish. Oh yes, he hates olives, so we made sure we got plenty of those in there.
Look at the olives.
Woo! Here we go, baby.
Dude, you got it, baby. Let's go.
Why do I do this?
Oh.
Do it for little Richard.
He's going.
Oh my goodness.
I'm about to puke. Oh, stop the noises. The noises are worse than the smell.
Oh my, it's on his beard. Look, it's on his Oh my goodness, man.
That was the worst thing I've ever eaten.
Look at it. It's like the inside of a fish, like a rotted fish.
It does look like that.
Dude,
It's just like
it's just mush and gross.
Oh gosh.
Well, you got a bite of it. It's a pretty big bite, right?
Yeah, and it tastes like. Have you ever had bad potato salad?
Oh, dude,
It tastes like worse.
I don't
potato
even
salad.
eat potato salad, bro. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Well, all right, guys, we're back. Here we are. Jake just had his bout with little Richard. I think he's gonna be okay. I think he's gonna make it. It's gonna be a long day, but we face challenges in life. We gotta overcome them together, right? And now the ultimate challenge is the Philly. Now, y'all, we love Phil so much, and we're just such a huge fan and supporter of Phil, and think the world of him. You know, I think he's part superhero, honestly, at times. And the one kryptonite that he might have, if there is one, is mayonnaise. So we decided to build Phil a sandwich known as the
Philly special.
Philly Special. Now we have Phil left for his very special sub, known as the Philly Special. Y'all, and the one kryptonite that Phil might have is mayonnaise. He's a very terrible fan of that. So, yeah, we decided to build Phil a Philly Special yesterday. And Jake, do you want to tell us about this sub that we built? Or that we built for Phil. Are you up to talking about this sub right now?
Yeah, I can talk about the sub.
Because
so-
isn't it a relief that we don't have to eat anything? We've already eaten ours.
Yeah. So it's a good build up. Phil, like as Chris said, Phil loves mayonnaise. Like he adores mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is Phil's
It's like
favorite.
mayonnaise, Kristen,
And
the
so-
kids. Like it's like yeah.
We decided to be in tradition, so we did a little Philly steak and cheese for Phil here. We kept it on whole grain wheat bread, just keep it healthy.
And we cooked
You know?
it some, right?
We cooked it a little bit. So
He
what
likes
we
it
did-
toasted.
He liked his sandwich toasted. So what we did was we put it in the toaster at Subway, and then they pulled it out, and we asked them if they could put it back in the toaster. So they double toasted it, and then I asked them if they could double toast it again. So that was 4 toastings.
And I think Dakota said, "Oh, do you want it on fire?"
Yeah, she asked us if we wanted it on fire, so then we said yes, so she put it back in for another double toasting. So we toasted it 6 times. His sandwich is, it's a little crisp, right? Well, it might
It's
be
cooked.
crisp.
It's
It
cooked.
was crisp yesterday, but it sat in the refrigerator overnight, so now it's probably a little soggy.
Woo!
And then we moved it on to the next station where we like triple salted it, I think.
Yeah, we put a lot of salt.
Yeah, we put a lot of salt and pepper on there, like triple salted it. And then came Phil's favorite ingredient. So we asked Dakota if she could put on just a like triple or quadruple amount of mayonnaise that she would normally put on a sandwich.
There's a lot of
And she
mayonnaise.
loaded this thing up. And then what else did we put on
Did
there?
we put tuna on it too?
I think we did.
I think we threw some tuna on there too, because tuna is part tuna.
Yeah, and
about
mayonnaise.
1% tuna, 99% mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of mayonnaise in that tuna too. And then I think we finished it off. We garnished it with a little bit of mayonnaise.
Yeah, we put some more mayonnaise on top of it. So Phil has a Philly steak and cheese that's like 10% Philly steak and cheese and 90% mayonnaise. So and it's extra toasty. So Phil, give us a reveal, sir.
I don't know if I can do this.
So Phil, how do you
dude,
feel
the
right
smell
now?
just like
I'm trying to lean back.
Dude, this
Me.
has
Oh.
got. This is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life right now.
yeah.
I cannot tell you the hatred. I don't hate anything, but I hate mayonnaise, and I hate raw onions. And it's like a soup of raw onions and mayonnaise put on the soggy burnt bread.
It's a hot tub of just fun. It's a hot tub of flavor over there. It's about to go in your.
Oh god.
Oh my goodness. Phil, we're challenging you to eat that sandwich, bro.
Can you get it down?
I can do it.
Here's the challenge.
Oh,
I can smell it. Just
Oh, God.
get it out of here. Look.
I can't do it, man. I cannot do this. I can. Oh, okay.
This is what you go for.
This is, I'm not in the trash can.
Oh god. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh god, I got my lip. Oh, he didn't even taste it. Oh god, hang on. God, Phil.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time.
Oh!
The smell.
I gotta leave.
We need a fire extinguisher for this thing. We need to like take this out. I don't think there's a winner for this challenge. I think kind of we all lost. If I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
this is definitely one of those challenges you all lose, because sometimes in life there just comes times where everybody loses.
That's true.
By the way, these signature subs are now being put on the menu.
Yeah,
I
if you go to Walmart in Kernersville and go to the Subway there, we had some great help, and they actually decided to partner with the Summit Church because of us doing our sandwiches
really
there.
did.
They really did. They decided to partner with the Summit Church, which is awesome. It was a huge blessing. We got to bless some of the employees there. It was really a great time. And we now have our sandwiches put on the wall there. So we got the Little Richard, the Colossus, and the Philly Special. So if you want to eat these sandwiches, go to Subway, but I would not recommend it.
As Jake would say, I wouldn't recommend this. I know Phil wouldn't recommend this. But sometimes life, we get messy, cruddy situations that we just have to deal with. At least we have each other for this choice, you know?
Yep.
But have fun tuning in here tonight. We got an awesome night planned for you guys. Phil, you got any last words for us?
Peace. Yo, what is up, Impact? Welcome to night 3 of the challenge, guys. I'm a little nauseous after watching that video. That was by far the worst thing that I have ever eaten in my life. I can speak for Chris and Phil as well. It's the worst thing that they've ever eaten. Guys, after making those sandwiches and then putting them in the refrigerator for 24 hours to let all those nasty flavors come together and then microwaving it afterwards and then eating it, guys, it was awful. I see our friend Brad Brinkley in the chat here telling us to man up a little bit. And Brad, I just want to say, why don't you come to Subway with me? We'll go next week. We'll make those sandwiches again, and I'll let you eat the whole thing, bud. You can do it. I believe in you. It's going to be a great time. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us again for night 3. It's going to be an incredible night. Last night, we issued a challenge for you guys to do a Plate Me a Picture challenge, and it was a cool challenge where you had to draw a picture that we told you to draw on top of your head on a paper plate. We had many submissions come in, and we do have a winner, but first, before I announce the winner, check out this video.
How'd you do? Oh, that's not bad at all.
That is terrible. I was gonna go umbrella.
Here, hold it up so I can see it. A little windy out here, folks. A little windy. Okay. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, I'm done. Here's my picture. Oh, wow.
Man, those were some masterpieces, y'all. They were the best pieces of art that I have ever seen. Hey, if you guys want to check out something really cool, up on eBay right now was the picture that I drew last night. We decided that we were going to put that modern masterpiece up for sale so that some artisan of culture could come pick that thing up, cultivate his museum of fine art with our Plate Me a Picture challenge. And we put it up for sale. You guys can go buy that right now if you want to for the small price of $15,000. It is going to be great. It's going to be hanging in a museum somewhere, just like your masterpieces are as well, I'm sure. But there was one art masterpiece that stood tall above the rest of them. Now, I don't know if it was planned to be this way, but the winner of the art challenge, the Plate Me a Picture challenge, the reason we chose this winner was because it was actually the only picture where we could tell kind of what it was. And so it was Danielle. Danielle, you won the Plate Me a Picture challenge. Congratulations. You get a $25 gift card straight from Impact. And the reason we chose you was because it looked like a beautiful butterfly on your plate. I don't know if that's what you went for, but that's also not what we told you to draw, but it was awesome. We could tell what it was. And so congratulations, you win from us. So tonight's challenge for your small group. Thank you so much for joining up in your small groups, getting together, have a pizza party, have a watch party, and tune in together to watch us here tonight. We have a challenge for your group. And so to get into that challenge, we have a little video to show you. So check out this video and I'm going to explain what the challenge is for you. So what we have going on here is you're gonna lay on your back, just like you see these people doing, right? You're gonna lay on your back with a Rubbermaid bin above you, held up by your feet. And that Rubbermaid bin is full of water, right? Full of water. and you all have to have socks on. And what you do is you go one at a time, taking one sock off at a time, and you go in a circle. And then the team who can do this the fastest, right, to get all their socks off, wins the challenge, right? So let's check out this video, see what happens as they're going on. See, they're going around in a circle, taking their socks off, taking their time. They're being cautious, being steady, trying not to drop that water. But you know what's gonna happen eventually. Something's gonna happen here in just a second. Oh, it's tipping just a bit. Oh, they steadied it back out. They steadied it. I hope you guys can steady it just as good as these people can. If you can, you're gonna win this challenge. Right, let's see what happens. They're trying to get it steady again. Going for the second sock this time. Oh, can he get it? Can he get it? Oh, man, that was close. Oh, it's tipping. Oh, they're gonna save it? Will they save it? No! Oh, no. And there it goes. Guys, that is the challenge for you tonight. Get in your small group, get a bin full of water, hold it up by your feet, and see if you can take your socks off one at a time. The group who does this the fastest will win a $50 gift card for your small group. Guys, get those video submissions into us on Instagram. Tag us Impact Summit JT, Impact Summit OR, or Impact Summit, so that you guys can be entered in for the contest. If you guys don't have Instagram, make sure you submit your videos to your small group leaders. Get them to us in a way we want to see your videos, and we want to give you that $50 gift card. Guys, tonight we have an amazing message coming from Phil Isley here tonight that I'm so excited for. You see, night one, we were talking about challenges that we face internally. Night two, we talked about challenges that we face with God. And night three, we're going to be talking about the right perspective that we need to have in life when we face these challenges. Phil's going to give an amazing message, but as Phil gives that message, make sure you type your comments in the comment section, right? We want to know your questions. Ask us questions about the message, right? We want to answer those questions in the Q&A after the message. So yeah, get those questions in. Pay attention to this message. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to hand things over to my man, Phil.
I hate mayonnaise. I cannot believe I had to sit there and watch myself eat that sub that was full. I'm talking as full as you could possibly get it of mayonnaise. And I hope you guys all enjoyed watching that while you were eating pizza. We thought about this after the fact. We're like, wow, we're showing this disgusting challenge while we're asking everybody to eat pizza. So hopefully the pizza is still down. And hopefully you're ready to hear something amazing, because I really do believe tonight that God is ready to speak to each of us, and I'm so excited about it. Tonight we're going to be talking about capacity. And to do this, I want to start out by making a statement. I love Starbucks. As much as I hate mayonnaise, I love Starbucks. In fact, it's kind of a love-hate. I love how good it tastes. I hate how much it costs. And if you guys are Starbucks lovers, if you like coffee, if you like going there, you know what I'm talking about. They put something in it that keeps you coming back for more, and now I'm used to spending $5 on a coffee. I mean, we have to have a budget line item for Starbucks now. That's how much coffee we drink. But just right now, for me, for everyone that out there that loves Starbucks, I want you to go back and I want you to see if you can think about your first experience in a Starbucks. Your very first experience. Right now, it's natural, it's normal to go in there and make orders, but think back to your first time going in there. I remember mine. So I was not a coffee fan, and Kristen, my wife, kept drinking these iced white mochas, and they looked good, they kind of smelled good, and so I started taking sips, and I'm like, you know what, this has kind of grown on me. And then it grew on me to the point where I was ready for my first walk up to the barista counter to order my very first Starbucks. And I was so excited. I walked up, and I don't remember her name,
but I said, I want an iced white mocha. Felt so cool. Yeah, I know how to order a coffee. I can go ahead and get my coffee. Everything was going great until she asked me what size I wanted. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I don't really want like a huge one. I don't want too small. I'll just take a medium. So she looked at me and said, okay, you want a grande? I said, no, I don't want a grande. I don't want something, I want a medium. Oh, so you want a grande? No, I want a medium. I don't want a grande. And so then she kind of stops and she says, sir, is this your first time in Starbucks? And I'm like, yeah, how did you know that? Well, obviously because I said medium. She's like, you need to take a look up here. Here are our sizes we have. We have a tall, we have a grande, and we have a venti, and then we have this other thing called a Trenti or a Trenta, something like that. But these are our sizes. And I'm like, okay, so what's a grande? Well, that's a medium. I'm like, doesn't that mean really big? And like, I'm thinking back to Spanish class, elementary school. You talk about grande. My first phrase I learned was grande cabeza because I knew I had a huge head. Like, that's the first thing I learned. And so I'm thinking, why would you name your medium grande? She's like, yeah, so we have a tall up here. That's our small. I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, we have a tall, that's a small. We have a grande, which means big in Spanish, and that's your medium. That makes even more sense. And then we have this other thing called a venti that no one even knows what that word really means, but that's our large. And so I'm being versed on this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I guess I'll take a grande. So I have in front of me right now all three of these sizes. I have a tall, which is their small. Makes a lot of sense. I have a grande, which is their medium. And then I have a venti, which is their large. And by the way, Starbucks is the only company on earth that could change the name of small, medium, and large to something that makes no sense, and everyone thinks it's really cool. Like, people think it's cool now. I'm gonna get a grande. Like, you go to McDonald's, I'll take a grande Coke. Like, what? Starbucks is the only company that could actually pull that off. And so each of these have a different capacity. Obviously, the tall holds the least amount. Then you go up to your medium or your grande. Then you go up to your large or your venti, right? All of these have a different capacity. And since this is my last message up here as Impact Director of Oak Ridge, I figured I would reference one of my very first messages. My very first message, or one of my very first messages I ever spoke, was on New Year's. It was the January. I was hired in November. It was that next January, and I called it the Capacity Challenge. And during this message, I basically challenged everyone to look at their capacity and try to increase that. And so I'm going to take some of those thoughts and I'm going to weave them into what I'm talking about tonight. But each of these cups have a different capacity, right? And each of us have our own capacity as well. And tonight we're going to talk about the capacity challenge. And your capacity is what you're able to take in or what you're able to put out. That's your capacity. So right now, whatever you're able to absorb and whatever you're able to put out, it's what you're capable of. That's your capacity. And just like these Starbucks cups, we all have a capacity. And I feel like tonight, some of you guys watching, you're operating at a tall right now. You're operating at a tall. And I feel like by the end of this, I hope my prayer for you is that you will feel God tugging you towards this venti. Right now, you're at a tall and you're satisfied, but you know there's something missing. There's something in my life that's just not quite there. Like, what? I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you're operating here and you need to come up to here tonight. And so that's my prayer as we challenge our capacities together tonight, that we would go from a tall to thinking that we're not capable of doing anything or facing any challenges, to thinking that, man, we are more than capable of facing anything that comes our way. I still remember to this day sitting and talking to my niece about this very job right now. I was talking about how I was teaching and I didn't love the school I was at or the environment I was in. And I remember her speaking up and saying, hey, you know what? You should apply for the youth pastor job at the Summit Church. And Kristen and I were actually attending the Kernersville location at that time, so I knew what you guys were all about. And I'm thinking, man, I would if I could, but there's no way. There's no way I could ever be good enough to be on the stage of that church. I mean, we're talking the Summit Church. This is not your backyard Baptist church here, right? This is the Summit Church. And I'm like, there's no way. And so that's where I left the conversation. And I distinctly remember this to this day. 2 nights later, I'm online searching some Google images, That came out really bad. Searching some Google images about quotes and phrases that would go with my classroom theme. I had a Gatorade theme. Gatorade's whole motto is win from within. So I'm looking up all these motivational quotes, and I'm trying to find something that I can hang up in my room that will inspire my kids that I was getting ready to teach. And as I'm looking through, getting lost in Google like we always do, right? I'm flipping through all these things. I finally come across this one graphic. And it was a quote that said this. Y'all listen up. It said, to reach your full capacity, you have to change I would if I could into you could if you would. I'm going to say it one more time, slowly, because I know it sounds the same, but these two words get flipped around, and that changes everything. It said, in order to reach your full capacity, you have to change from I would if I could to you could if you would. And that spoke to me. It spoke to me so much that literally the next day I emailed Andy Cook, who was the campus pastor at Oak Ridge, and I said, listen, I'm a teacher. I've got some experience in this a little bit. Haven't done it in a long time. I've been teaching for 6 years. Like, I don't even know if I'm equipped for this. And almost 4 years later, I'm standing here right now. All because I stopped telling myself I would if I could, and I started believing that I could if I would. Changing that one thought that night took me from a tall to a venti. It increased my capacity, and it's allowed me to do things that I never thought I was capable of in these last 4 years. I'm telling you, that simple change in thinking has allowed me to do things that I never thought I could ever do in these last 4 years, and I am not special. Every single person can experience this if we can change our mindset. So tonight, I want us all to challenge our capacity, and my question for all of you watching is, are you ready? Are you ready to accept this challenge? Are you ready to see what you're really capable of? Because I would venture to say that most of us are operating right here, right now. We're living in the, I would if I could. When we need to be saying, man, you could if you would. Changing that changes everything. So right now, I know you guys are with other people. If you're not with other people, you can look in the mirror and do this, but I'm a big talker kind of deal. So I want you to look at somebody or look at yourself in the mirror right now, and I want you to say, you could if you would. Say it. You could if you would. And guys, this is so important because your language can limit you. Your language can create your own limitations. What you say to yourself, the language you speak to yourself, can actually label you. It's your language that holds you back from reaching your full capacity. We say things like this: I would if I could, but I'm shy. I'm not outgoing. I don't have that talent. I don't look like that person. Right? I don't have that kind of money. I don't drive that kind of car. I don't hang out with those people. And so we live in this whole, man, I would if I could, instead of living in the you could if you would. And that stops us. That keeps our capacity low. But what you tell yourself is what you become. I can't stand when people say, oh, listen, I can't do that because I'm not outgoing. What? Stop telling yourself that. Stop telling yourself that you're not outgoing. Because I can tell you right now, what you have, what you need to say, someone else needs to hear. So don't tell me that you're not outgoing. Don't tell me that you don't like talking in front of people. No, start telling yourself, listen, this may be a little more scary to me than somebody else, but I can do this. I can step out and do that when I need to. You could if you would. We got to change our thinking and change what we say to ourselves. So my question is, what are you telling yourself today? What are you speaking to yourself today, right now, and you know what it is? What are you telling yourself today? What have you been telling yourself that has been limiting who you are, that's been keeping you here and keeping you from getting here? What have you been telling yourself? I would if I could. Tonight, we're going to challenge our capacity. I'm actually going to call my boy Kenneth up. He's actually behind the camera right now. I did give Kenneth a little heads up on this, right? Kenneth is coming up. He's making his way. Everybody give it up for Kenneth right now, okay? Okay, he's one of the masterminds that makes all this happen right here. What's up, Kenneth? I guess we'll keep our 6 feet or whatever. I'm not sure here, man. All right, so Kenneth, dude, for real. Speaking about capacity, when you came to the summit, dude, I remember when you came to the summit. All right, Kenneth actually worked over at Oak Ridge with me for a long time and helped us get to a whole nother level. But when Kenneth came to the summit, I really do feel like his video skills and some of his skills, he was probably sitting somewhere right here, right? Right, Kenneth? So, dude, where do you feel like you're at now?
I'm not here. I'm
Okay,
not here.
You're not there anymore.
Do I really feel like I'm here? Yeah. Some days I feel like I'm here.
Okay.
Some days I feel like I'm here. But more often than not, I do feel like it's way better than what
Okay.
what was.
So when you were here, what are some of the things that you were telling yourself? What are some of the fears you had when you were here? At this level, when you walked into a room and you saw all this equipment and you were right here, what are some of the feelings you'd have?
Oh crap.
That's perfect. That's perfect because it's the same thing. So now that you're somewhere in this area, when you walk into this, and dude, I've seen you working. When you walk into this, it's probably no longer oh crap. What have you kind of moved up to now?
Being more familiar with it brings more confidence. When you're familiar with a situation, you tend to be more confident in making decisions in those situations.
Boom. I love it, dude. All right, that's all I'm going to hold you up here for. Awesome, bro. Yo, give it up for Kenneth. He came up here. He doesn't like being in front of cameras. That was a challenge for him right there, and he did fantastic. But guys, listen. When he used to come in and be like, oh, crap. Of course he was scared because that's what he was telling. That's the language. But as you become, like he said, more familiar and you start facing challenges and you start putting yourself out there and stop telling yourself that, man, I would if I could. And you start saying, well, listen, you could if you would. That's what Kenneth told himself. Listen, I can, but here's what I got to do. I got to be around it. I got to be a part of it. I got to listen to people who know more than me. And now he's no longer saying, oh, crap. He's coming in and he kind of has an idea of what's going on to the point where he can just jump up and grab a piece of equipment and start operating it. Guys, it's the same in your life. Right now, a lot of you guys are hiding behind the I would if I could because you've never put yourself out there. You keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, or you keep telling yourself that you're too shy, or blah, blah, blah. All these excuses, and all you're doing is holding yourself back. So how do we do this? We're going to look at the book of John, and please stick with me. This scripture right here, I'm telling you, you guys are going to love it. The book of John, and we're going to be in chapter 16, verses 1 through 33. And I know if you're me, when I used to sit in church and somebody would say 1 through 33, I would tune out. I'm like, listen, you're going to read 33 verses of scripture? No, I'm not reading all the scripture. I'm going to paraphrase some of it. But this is so amazing. John is recording what Jesus said in his book. And he's talking to his disciples just before he's going to be betrayed and crucified. So just before Jesus faces his greatest challenge. Let me say that one more time. Just before Jesus faces his greatest challenge, he starts talking to his disciples. I'm going to paraphrase the first 15 verses. He says, hey guys, I'm getting ready to tell y'all some stuff so that you don't fall away from your faith. So they're like, oh, yay, this is going to be good. I can't wait to hear what Jesus has to say. Something that's going to be positive and keep us motivated and inspired. Here we go. And Jesus, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is in there. You go and read it right now. It's in there. He says, there will come a time when people will push you out of the synagogues. In other words, the church, the place you feel most comfortable, there's going to be a time when people kick you out of it. So the disciples are probably like, okay, maybe it's going to get better. Okay, it's going to get better. There will also be a time, he says this, it's in there, read it. There will also even be a time when people will kill you in my name. And I can just think at that point, the disciples are like, yo, what's up, man? I think I need to follow somebody else. Like, hang on, you said this was going to keep us from going away from our faith. You're telling us we're going to be kicked out of synagogues and killed in your name. And that's somehow supposed to motivate us and make us, okay. It's got to get better, right? It's got to get better. Okay. And then he tells them in verse 16, right, after those first 15 verses, he says, in a little while you won't see me anymore, but after that, you're going to see me again. And the disciples at this point are like, okay, like, what's up with Jesus today? Like, Did he have a bad fish? Did he eat a bad loaf of bread? Like, what is going on with this guy? He's telling me that this is supposed to motivate me to not leave my faith. And he's saying crazy stuff that's going to happen to us. And then he's saying something even crazier about how, like, we see him, we're not going to see him, we're going to see him. And so Jesus, like, heard them talking, right? Because Jesus kind of hears everything. So he hears them kind of murmuring. He goes, all right, guys, listen. Obviously, you're not getting it. I'm just going to speak this plainly. The Bible actually uses the word plainly. Jesus says, I'm going to speak plainly to you guys. And from verses 19 to 30, I'm going to paraphrase this as well. This is what he says. You will grieve. Okay. You will be sad. Some of you will be killed. You will face crazy challenges. You will also be scattered all over for my name, and it's going to be very difficult. But there will be a day when all that sorrow is turned to joy, and when you will see me again. So the disciples are like, okay, so like all of that was really bad. But then there was like this little glimmer of hope at the end. And then this is a verse I want us to focus on, John 16:33. Just listen to this. He said, I have told you all of this so that you may have peace. Guys, if I'm a disciple, I'm thinking at that point, you told me all these horrible things so I can have peace. You told me I'm going to face challenges unheard of, maybe even be killed in your name, and that's supposed to give me peace? He doesn't stop there, though. The next two words are so important. So that you may have peace in me. Not in your abilities, not in what you think your abilities are, not in what you say your abilities are, not in the I would if I could, but in the you could if you would, because that's where Jesus lives. When he made you and he put all that wiring together in your brain and knew exactly who you were going to be, that is what Jesus sees. When he looks at you, he sees that full potential. He sees you at a venti. He sees you here. But a lot of us, we see ourselves here. And you will never find peace here. There's no way you can face a challenge and be right here and find peace. But in him, as a venti, you will find peace. You will find peace in me. Here on earth, Jesus says you will. He doesn't say you might, maybe if you're part of this family or your skin color is this. No. Everybody will face challenges and sorrows. Can you imagine being a disciple? Stops right here. Jesus, what are you talking about, man? You're crazy. You told me all these things and I'm supposed to have peace. I mean, yeah, you know why? The disciples were living right here. The disciples, if you read the stories, we were talking about some of them the other night. The disciples were right here until Jesus came and he showed them a new way. He said, listen, man, I know you're right here as fishermen, but you could be here. You could be here. In fact, I'm going to help you get to here. I'm going to help you increase your capacity to take you from the I would if I could to, man, you could if you just would. It's a shift. So after Jesus says you will face many challenges and sorrow, he then says, but again, and by the way, guys, there are some big buts in the Bible. I didn't mean it that way. But there are some big buts, and this is one of the big buts in the Bible right here. You're going to face many challenges and sorrows, but, that's a big old but. Take heart, because I have overcome the world. You see, guys, what I'm trying to tell y'all, disciples, is that, yes, I'm here right now. I will soon be betrayed and I will die, but I will rise. And when I rise, you will see me again. Guys, this is the good stuff. And when you see me again, that right there is when you're going to have the peace, because you're going to know that I've overcome the world. And when I'm going to heaven, I want to send my Holy Spirit to live in you. So you will have even greater power than I do. That is the peace in me. Yes, you're going to face challenges, but I have overcome the world. And that is how you have peace in me. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, so that everyone believes will not perish but have eternal life. All you got to do is believe. In other words, I want you to get this, y'all. Our capacity depends on our faith. Our capacity depends on our faith because faith flips the script. Faith flips the script. It takes you from a I would if I could person to I could if I would. Because faith gives you the confidence because you're serving the God that has overcome the world. And because of that, I can face any challenge. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be tough, but I know I'm going to make it through it because that guy is living in me now. He's part of me. Faith in Jesus flips the script. It changes everything. It takes you from here to here. Maybe not instantly, just like Kenneth talked about. It's not like, oh, I'm all of a sudden a venti and I'm at full capacity. But you grow into it. And suddenly you start realizing the reason why you weren't satisfied here is because you weren't meant to live here. You were meant to live here, right here. That's where you're meant to live. Full capacity. And your capacity depends on your faith. Your faith in a God that has overcome the world. Faith flips the scripts. Tell somebody again, you could if you would. You could if you would. We have to change our language. Jesus was telling his disciples, you will face challenges. In fact, you need to face challenges. Why? Because without facing challenges, you don't have any victory. Do you hear that? If you don't face a challenge, you never have a victory. That's why I can't stand soccer. How can you end a game in a tie? It doesn't work. It doesn't compute in my head. I want to either win or lose and know what I did. I don't want to tie. Can you imagine going through life and knowing that you never had a victory over any challenge? What keeps you going? The fact that you face a challenge and you get through it. We need challenges. In fact, your challenges, I want y'all to hear this. Your challenges of today are your victories of tomorrow. Your challenges that you are in right now are your victories of tomorrow. The path to your greatest capacity is beyond your greatest challenge. The path to your greatest capacity lies beyond your greatest challenges. We need challenges. We were created to face challenges, and we are capable of facing and overcome challenges. Too many of us don't live in faith, and so we run from challenges, and we know that running never works. Running actually decreases our capacity because we tell ourselves we can't do it. And if you tell yourself you can't do it, I can guarantee you won't do it. Facing our challenges with the faith that we are serving the God that has overcome the world, that is what gets you here. That is what gets you to this venti kind of life. That's what takes you from a tall to a venti. That's how you get there, with your faith. Jesus said you will face challenges. James got this. He said, consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. Consider it a gift when you face challenges. Because under pressure, your faith is forced into the open and shows its colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work and become mature and well-developed and not deficient in any way. In other words, your challenges increase your capacity. So let's make this declaration together right now. Right now, let's make this declaration. One of my favorite verses in Scripture, Philippians 4:13, that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because it's the same Christ that overcame the world. He overcame the world. So of course we can do all things. Of course we can face all challenges. And of course we can get through them. And not only get through them, we can use them to grow our capacity. Like that's how awesome our God is. We need to turn our would if I could into, man, I could if I would. Some of y'all tonight, y'all need to stop. You need to flip the script. I could forgive if I would forgive. I could face that challenge if I would face that challenge. I could stop that addiction that is ripping my life and my relationships apart if I would. I could mend that relationship if I would. I could get along better with my brothers, sisters, and my families if I would. And here's the big one. I could walk in faith if I would just give Jesus a chance. I could walk in faith if I would just give Jesus a chance. I could if I would. Guys, that's why I'm standing here today. That's why I've had the opportunity to work at Impact for almost 4 years. Because faith flipped the script. I went from, man, I would if I could, to, shoot, I could if I would. Faith flips the script. I've told you all of this so that you may have peace in me. Here on this earth, you will face challenges, but take heart because I have overcome the world. I'm going to end with a quick story. Borden Milk Company, and my wife, she's actually here in the room with me right now, and she's heard this before. And we actually started a church plant before I came to the summit, and it was all based on this story. I love this story. But Borden Milk used to be the milk company in the United States. And William Borden was the son of the guy who started it, and he was in line to inherit a fortune. A fortune. Well, he decided when he was going to college, he wanted to study abroad. He wanted to travel around the world. So his parents said, okay, go ahead. As he's traveling around, he starts to get a heart for the different things happening in the world, the poverty, and he's like, I want to do something about this. And so he does. He decides to stay and do something instead of inheriting a fortune, to stay over there. And when he was 25, I believe it was, he developed spinal meningitis when he was in China, and he died. And this was huge news. It was on the front of all the newspapers and everywhere in America. Huge news. And you know what most people said? It was a waste. Man, William Borden wasted his life. What did he do that for? He went over there and died? He could have had a fortune. What's wrong with this kid? Until somebody found this dude's Bible. See, his heart was to minister to the Muslims. And they found his Bible, and in the very back of his Bible, there were 6 words written down. And those words were no reserve, no retreat, and no regret. See, what everybody else thought was a waste was him living at full capacity. He made a choice. When he saw something, he said, you know what, I see these challenges, and yes, it's going to be a challenge for me, but I'm going to step into this challenge. And he went from a tall up to a grande. And at some point, he got so sure and he was so dedicated to this challenge and to getting through this and helping people get through their challenges that he went up to a venti, and he found himself here to the point to where he wrote in the back of his Bible, no reserve, no retreat, no regret. In other words, the only way to live with no regret in life is to live at full capacity. Full capacity. So my prayer as I step away from this ministry is for every single student, leader, parent, this ministry, that together, y'all would come together to face the challenges right now with COVID and any challenge that may come in the future. And that in the end, you're going to look back and say, listen, we live with no reserve, no retreat, no regret. We lived, we operated, we did impact, we did ministry at full capacity. And if you can say that, guys, you can sleep at night. We're going to face challenges, but we serve the God who has overcome the world. So right now, some of you guys need to flip the script. And I would challenge you to reach out to your small group leaders right now as you're stuffing your face with pizza. Talk to them. Say, listen, I'm ready to flip the script in my life. What is this thing Phil's talking about? It's not complicated. Your faith, that's all you need. Faith is the way you get from this tall up to this venti. So let's live like William Borden did, with no reserve, no retreat, no regret. And let's reach that capacity that we were created for. Let's pray. Jesus, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for these past 4 years, for every student interaction I had, for every leader interaction, for every interaction with every adult, for all the people here at the Summit Church. Amazing people, amazing ministry. And I pray that as we continue doing all of this, and as I move into a different season in my life, that we would all keep this in front of us to live at full capacity. That we would allow faith to flip the script in our life, and we would stop saying, man, I would if I could, to, man, I could if I just would. It's that simple. Let's allow faith to flip our script, and let's walk in full capacity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Guys, I love that message from Phil. I loved so much what Phil had to say when he said, today's challenges are tomorrow's victories. Guys, it's just so powerful, everything that Phil said. And then the final challenge of what Phil gave us, to stop thinking in the terms of, I would if I could, and start saying, I could if I would. I love the shift there. I love the shift in thinking. That's such a great challenge from Phil, keeping the right perspectives from the challenges that we face today. Guys, we're getting ready to move into a Q&A segment here in just a little bit, but we're actually going to take a 5-minute break before we do that. But hey guys, we have small group time for you guys. If you're in a small group, we want you guys to circle up, talk about the challenges that you guys are facing, and remind each other that you guys are there together throughout all of this. And then if your small group wants to join in on this Q&A, please do it. We would love to have you there. Also, ask us questions in the chat room to the side here. Type in funny questions or type in serious questions. We would love to hear from you guys. But we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back here with the optional Q&A portion of tonight's challenge, the final night, night 3. We'll see you here in just a little bit. He's probably having group time though.
Hey, he should be watching. Oh, that's true. This is Q&A time.
Oh yeah, we're on air.
We're on air
Look
right
at
now.
that.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're talking about Chris and the microphone. Not really.
No, we're gonna get started here with our optional Q&A segment for you guys who are not in group time. But we got a question came in that we were just kind of discussing back and forth as we came back on air, and it's what shoe size does Chris Applegate wear? Chris unfortunately could not be here with us tonight, but it's actually not unfortunately, like nothing bad happened. Chris has a small group of guys that he is meeting with. They're actually watching the challenge right now from a local park.
We think they're watching it. This is the test.
That's right. This is the test.
This is a test if they're watching.
That's right. But so Chris, the question for you is, what is your shoe size, and can you put it in the comments so that we can see what shoe size you wear? What shoe size do you wear, Phil?
I wear a size 11. Yeah. Does anybody have any guesses on what shoe size Chris is? I'm guessing probably like a 14.
Like a 27.
27.
27E.
Ooh. So you're going New Balance. You're going like extra wide.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's that like Shaq? Wasn't Shaq like a 28 or something like that?
I don't remember. Shaq's, I mean, it was so
Triple
baby.
E.
I saw someone put a baby in his shoe one time.
Dude,
it was
nuts.
I saw a picture of a baby in Shaq's shoe. It was insane. I don't know what's going on. So obviously, okay, so Colby came in and said he thinks it's a 13. Okay, that's a pretty good guess. I wore an 11, so this is like my shoe right here.
Easy there.
I don't know if you can see that. You know, I wish I had I don't have a picture.
Phil just tried to kick our table over.
I did. Actually, I hit it with my shin.
Oh, yeah.
Shin. And, man, you got to pronounce that N.
Yeah, you do.
Marshmallow Fan 13 also thinks number 1 thinks the 13 as well. All right,
man.
while we're waiting for Chris to possibly put his shoe size on here, I guess we can move on to some other questions.
Yeah, I like this question. It's another like just getting us warmed up question.
I like the
it's
warmed
for us,
up.
It's for us sports fans.
A microwave question. Getting us warmed up.
Yeah, that's right. Microwave question, man. So as for us sports fans, you like NBA.
Love NBA.
I like the NBA. Chris likes the NBA. Who would win in a 1v1? Giannis Antetokounmpo or Michael Jordan?
Oh!
This is an easy question for me.
Listen,
but
what is it? What's your easy answer? I want to see.
Michael Jordan all day, man.
Really?
Dude, MJ could defend and he could play offense. He's the most lethal player to ever play the game of basketball.
How tall was he?
6'6".
How tall?
Or 6'3", something like that.
Huh?
6'6", I think.
6'6"? Yeah, 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So he's got what? He's negative probably a few inches.
Yeah, 4 or 5 inches maybe.
Yeah, 4 or 5 inches. That's a lot, dude.
That's a lot.
That's like this far. So he's not even getting to the ball.
Jordan doesn't have to get close to him though, dude.
Oh, is he gonna push off like
Jordan
did on
will
Russell?
run away from him.
Is he gonna push off?
Oh, dude, he will run away from him. He will break his ankles.
No, I
He'll
have
go
to.
under his legs.
Dude,
Michael Jordan will go through a round over under anybody he has to. Did you not watch The Last Dance?
Yeah, actually, I did. It was very, very good.
It was awesome.
It was much better than I thought it was going to be, and it was very eye-opening. I didn't know some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to make this kind of like Stephen A. Smith kind of deal, but I have to just agree with you. I have to just agree with you. Michael Jordan would absolutely win that one because I'm a Carolina fan, and he's the best Carolina player ever. Well, Vince Carter's up there too. But yeah, I think MJ would win. He'd be more creative.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd have more speed.
Antetokounmpo, like he could play all positions as well, but it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I mean, most lethal player of all time.
If the question would have been Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, I would have honestly had to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, me too. I would have had to think about that a little bit more too. But that's not the question we're facing, right? Unless people want the answer to that.
I don't think anyone cares, probably. But if
we're turning this into a sports show.
Oh man, this is amazing right now. This is my dream. Okay, next question.
Cool. Phil, did you see any question that you wanted to answer, or I can jump right in?
Well, I did see some good ones. Man, Sarah Copeland. I'm not sure who this girl is.
Me neither.
Yeah, Jake has no idea who this girl is.
That's my wife.
Hang on, is she
you guys?
Is she at the beach right now?
No, she's actually meeting with her small group.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, good for you, Sarah.
That's right.
I hope. Okay, so you're probably not even hearing this right now, but all right. So Sarah said, "What are your thoughts for students who struggle with doubt and find it hard to keep their faith during trials?" Because, like I said, like you want to reach full capacity, but you're struggling right now with what you're facing. And I know I said it's as simple as just having faith in Jesus, man. But what are some steps that you take to get to that point? You know?
Yeah. That's such a tough question. Like, man, what do you do?
1-800-Jesus?
Yeah. What do you do combating doubts?
I think
I got to think about that for a
yeah.
second.
So I think sometimes you just have to be okay with failing. And
Yeah.
like we talked about last night with Thomas, how he doubted, and it's not a bad thing to doubt. Sometimes the more you chase those doubts, the more you actually find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I know, like, one of my favorite books is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. He tried to prove that there was no God.
Yeah.
He tried to prove it, and in his quest to prove that, he actually found Jesus. And he is a Christian, you know. So I think sometimes, if you let the doubt be the only thing that you think about, and the fact that that's a negative thing, then that's what you harp on, and that's where you stay. But if you see the doubt as just being a human being, and all of us sometimes doubting, like, man, like, I know Jesus is up there. I've never seen him in person before. Sometimes I get these chilly bumps and everything, and I feel it in an experience. But then sometimes in challenges, I don't feel that so much. It's okay to doubt. I mean, we all have doubts.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking something along the same lines that I can speak from personally, and that is to, like you said, pursue your doubts almost. Like, seek the answer to your doubts. Yep. I also think of Lee Strobel. If you guys have not heard of Lee Strobel was a man who was an atheist. He was a lawyer, and he was very well educated, super smart man. And his wife became a Christian one day. And Lee was very mad at the fact that his wife became a Christian. And so he set out on a common journey, just like C.S. Lewis did, to try to prove the Bible wrong. And he tried to prove Christianity false and prove that Jesus wasn't real. So he went to like all these universities, and he went to all these scientists and just different research things like history museums, like historical artifacts, historical documents. He went through it all, trying to figure out if Jesus was, well, he wasn't even just trying to figure it out. He was positive that Jesus was fake.
Yeah.
Right? He was positive that Christianity was just total nonsense. And in his process of trying to prove this to his wife, he discovers through history and through science that Jesus was real, and that this stuff was actual factual stuff. And so speaking from personal experience there, also the books, if you guys are interested in those books, it's Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis.
Yep.
Check that one out. It's a fantastic book. Also, Lee Strobel wrote 3 of them. It's The Case for a Creator, it's The Case for Christ, and it's The Case for Faith. Right? And so all those kind of break it down into different categories, explaining Lee's story of how he came to know Jesus while trying to almost prove that Jesus was fake. Check those books out. They're phenomenal resources. Speaking from personal experience, this is something that I did in like my late middle school years, early high school years, was start seeking the answers to my doubts.
Yep.
And putting it into like a scientific context, putting it into a historical context, researching what's called apologetics. If you guys don't know what apologetics is, you should check it out. It's basically just
so fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's basically lining up history and science with Christianity, right? How does Christianity fit within science and history, and how do those things play into Christianity? It's defending the Christian faith factually, right? So it's not a whole bunch of just like, well, you just got to have faith. It's like real scientific hard facts. So I pursued that stuff when I was in early high school, and it transformed my life, y'all. I mean, it really did. There's just so many great, rich answers to help you. So, I mean, if you have doubts, that's okay. We all have doubts. We all struggle with that stuff. But don't be afraid of your doubts, and don't let your doubts cripple you. Seek the answer for your doubts. Ask people questions. Ask me questions. Ask Phil questions. Ask Chris. Ask anybody. Because even if we don't know the answer that you are looking for, we can help you find it. We can talk to people. Like, we can get there.
Yep. So there's 2 types of people in the world. I believe there are people who are okay with listening and believing what everyone else says and kind of going along with it. And there's people who have doubts and they're willing to seek out and find the answers. So I would challenge you right now, if you're having doubts about anything in your walk with Christ, or maybe you're not even there yet, you're having doubts about this whole thing. You listen to my message like, this is a joke. I have doubts about all of that. That's okay. having doubts at least means you're thinking about it, right? That at least means that you're going down that road, but don't let it, like Jake said, cripple you and stop you. Help it to propel you to learning and coming up and finding your own answers, because the answers are out there. Now, if I sit here and tell you and Jake sits here and tells you, it may not mean as much as you finding them out yourself. I think that's why Jake had such an enlightening time when he went out and searched for the answers himself. And guys, listen, if like answers to questions about Jesus and religion don't like get you excited, man, you need to be, because the more you dig into this Bible thing, the more you're going to realize how interesting that this is. So, Jake, I just saw you laugh, dude. What's up?
Dude, I chuckled because of one of the questions that came in here. That's such good advice, and that's so true. What you just said. Also, my wife told me I was breathing heavy in the mic, so I apologize.
Hey, you were just thinking about it. Okay. Darth Vader, dude. Darth Vader.
That's right, Darth Vader.
Bro.
Yeah. So I was laughing because Sarah, my wife, actually wrote in and she said, "Which Impact director is the worst driver?"
Oh, it's by far Chris.
Oh, you think? Yeah, dude. Duh.
100% Chris. One, because he
Chris is
can't
terrible.
defend himself here.
That's right.
Two, because he's way too big for his car. And three, he does not like NASCAR, and Jake and I do. Now, obviously,
right.
if you cheer for NASCAR, you definitely know how to make a left turn. So we're
That's
back.
right.
Okay, we're back.
We can make left turns, right turns. Well, I mean, we'll just stop right there. But you know, that kind of leads us into a next question.
Who would win
right?
a fight?
No, I was going
Did you
to say
get to that one?
No, I haven't seen that one yet, but I did see who would win in a NASCAR 5 laps around Bowman Gray.
Oh, dude. By the way,
Dale Earnhardt
can we have a
Sr.
moment of silence for Bowman Gray?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard an amen from back there.
Zach, our tech director in the back and running the cameras, just shouted amen.
That's the first amen we've heard all
That's amazing.
the whole time.
So he said, who would win at Bowman Gray in 5 laps, Dale Earnhardt Sr. or Kyle Busch?
Dude, I mean,
That's not even a question.
okay, so listen, I know you said you like Kyle Busch. People love to hate him, right? Because he is, I sort of agree. I think Harvick is the best driver. You think Busch is. I still cheer for Chase Elliott, but I cannot ever go against the intimidator.
No.
The dude that like started it all. He was like, he was the bad boy and everyone loved him. Like
He
he
was
somehow
awesome.
made that cool. He wrecked people, and people didn't complain because they knew if they went up to his car, he was going to jack them.
Oh, yeah.
So they would just
He
move
was
out of his
awesome.
way.
He was the man.
He would win.
Dude, I
100%.
remember watching Dale Earnhardt when I was a kid. Like, Dale Earnhart's my second favorite athlete, by
Hang
the
on,
way.
by the way, can we talk about the Facebook group that you're in, Boomers? What's your name on there?
So I'm in this group on Facebook, and it's a Boomer group, and you like have a fake name and everything that you pick. My name in the Boomer group is Dale. The reason I chose Dale is 3 for Dale, do it for Dale. It's all about Dale Earnhardt. Second favorite athlete, right?
Yep.
I love Dale Earnhardt. I loved him as a kid. I remember the day when Dale died.
Oh, yeah,
I
man.
cried.
I was in church and I did cry.
I was in a
like,
funeral, and I didn't cry because my uncle died. I cried because Dale died. I'm not
Okay,
kidding.
by the way, Aunt, he loved the uncle. Okay.
I didn't really know my uncle.
Okay.
I didn't know him well. We were just at the funeral, but then like Dale died, Daytona 500 in 2001. Like,
Dude.
Ugh.
Oh, it wasn't the next to last lap, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
second
Yeah,
to last lap.
Second to
White
last
flag.
lap.
No, it was the white flag.
Was it a white flag?
It was the white flag. Michael Waltrip won.
Yep. And he hit the wall. It didn't even look bad.
Yeah, it didn't.
Didn't even look bad.
Sterling Marlin was the man that killed Dale Earnhardt. I'm sure he lives with that to this day. Sterling, if you're watching this, I feel so bad. Like,
I
it's a
don't
bad
even know.
day.
I think you just brought that up. He's probably over that.
He probably
He's worked
is.
through it, and now you brought it back. So now he went from a
Probably
venti to a tall, just right there, bro. You just lost. He lost everything.
He's not the man that did
All right,
it.
so
I
who
was
would
just
win in
kidding.
a fight between us two?
Oh man, you would kill me.
I don't know. Dude, I feel like if you get mad, I would run. I saw. Hang on.
So you would win because I can't run fast.
I saw the unedited version
Oh.
of Dollar Tree, and I saw
Oh,
you
yeah.
rise up.
Oh,
and
no.
I saw that face, brother. I was terrified.
You saw the defense face.
I would run. I
Yeah.
think you'd win just because I wouldn't fight.
Oh gosh. I mean, maybe.
I think
Luckily,
so.
we won't ever have to get there.
Well, I
'Cause,
mean, I don't know.
I'm not someone who likes to fight.
I'm a
so-
lover. I'm not a fighter.
Yeah, me
I
too.
Okay.
I want to go into like a little serious question
Okay.
here. Someone asked, Nikki actually asked, how can you know when you're at full capacity? What does that look like? Like full capacity in your faith.
Do you want me to tell you what I think? Now, listen, this is
Yeah.
totally an opinion. Like, there's no fact about everyone's different. We're all in different stages, like Jake and Chris said last night. Our next step for everyone is so different. And your next step might be something as simple as, you know what? Like, I'm going to stop, I don't know, I'm going to stop spending 8 hours on video games every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever that next. We're all at different stages of our life. So it's going to look a little different. But from my opinion, when I've felt at full capacity, it's when I have the ability to like come home and I'm so excited to share something with somebody. Something that happened was so cool. Whether it was a conversation or something I was able to be a part of because I decided to say yes instead of no, or maybe it was something where I felt like I took the higher road, whatever that may look like. Because full capacity, it's not like you get there and you stay there forever. It's kind of like your car. You get to full capacity, you fill the tank up, and as you go down life, it takes a little bit away from you, and you got to keep making those stops to fill your tank back up. And that's when you come to church, that's when you go to small groups. All those things help to fill that back up and to get to your full capacity. But I think when you're there or when you're close to there is when you come home and there's something so exciting that you've done that you know is beyond yourself. That you're just like, I can't wait to tell somebody about like what I experienced or what happened. It's like when you come back from camp and you were in that crazy worship experience, right? And you like you come home and like you try to explain it and you can't do it. Like I've come home to Kristen multiple times, and be like, it was, and, you know, she's like, oh yeah, you know, and she's trying to like, but she can't really tell exactly how cool it was. But I was so full, my capacity was so filled up. I was like, yo, I just gotta tell somebody, even if it don't make sense. That's one of the telling signs for me that, man, I've lived at full capacity that day, you know? So
yeah, I think what my mind goes to initially, and again, this is an opinion, 100%. There's nothing to back this up other than just what I think. I don't know if being at full capacity in your faith is ever going to be something you reach long term in this life. Like you said, it's not something, at least what I think, it's not something that you reach it and then you're there and you stay there for forever.
Yep.
You know, it's not like you hit a mark and then it's like, oh, well, I'm good. I don't have to put any more work into my faith or anything like that. To me, what reaching full capacity in your faith is, it kind of goes back to the idea of reconciliation that Jesus is doing right now. And then also the process of sanctification. So those are big words, really just to say that us being rescued by Jesus and us being cleansed by Jesus is a process. And it's a process that starts when we get saved, right? And then it ends when we finally go be with Jesus for the rest of eternity, right? That's when we reach full capacity. And then everything in between is us putting effort into our faith to live as much like Jesus lived and be as close to Jesus as we possibly could. Because even on my best days, like where I feel totally fulfilled, like that super high worship moment, even on my best days, I look at somebody like what the Apostle Paul wrote. Would I ever equate myself to the level of faith that Paul had? No. Paul is my favorite character in the Bible, outside of Jesus, of course. But like, I love the wisdom of Paul.
Way to correct that.
Yeah. Yes. But I love the wisdom that Paul just gives. I love the teaching moments that Paul gives. And even at Paul's best moments, he still says that there's a thorn in his side. He still says that there's things wrong with him.
Isn't that crazy?
And so as high level as I put Paul up there, he still puts himself down here. So I'm thinking about myself. I'm like, man, what does it look like to be completely like at full capacity? I don't know.
Well, I think what you just said, that's the whole like peace in me. Yeah. Like he never said, I'm never going to be like Christ. However, I can have peace with this thorn. I have a thorn in my side, all these things. And by the way, the thorn in his side means, you know, basically the thing that keeps bugging him. We all have that thing. Some of us have multiple things, right? I'm speaking to myself right here. That they just keep happening and coming up in our life. And like, dude, I thought I was past that. Like, what happened? That's the thorn in your side. Yeah. But I think what Paul was able to reach during certain times of his life was peace in him, peace in knowing that he's serving the God that overcome. And that's a huge thing. And I think also we talked about the I would if I could, changing it into you could if you would. I think when you can look back and you can find yourself saying yes in those moments where you feel like you need to step out and do something. Like we all have those moments where you feel like I need to do this. And a lot of times we just ignore that. the more we kind of give in and say, you know what, listen, like this seems weird, way out of my comfort zone, but I'm gonna give it a shot because I really feel like God is telling me I need to do this. I think the more you start doing that, the more you're gonna feel fulfilled in your life and living at full capacity. So the more that you are living in the, man, I could if I just would, rather than, man, I would if I could. You know, there's this huge, as long as you're letting faith flip that script in your life, and as long as you're living by that, man, I think if you can do more of the other during the day than, you know, I would if I could, I think at that point you're getting really close to full capacity. But just like Jake said, it's a daily thing. You're going to have to continue filling yourself up every single day. And that is why getting in the Word, praying, being around people, small group, it's so important.
Well, I think you nailed something else too. And this is such a good question because like you could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought of while Phil was talking was, you know, you were saying how like even with the thorn in your side, even with the things that keep going on in your life, I think that even saying yes to doing those things and even taking it back to the root of this question, it's important to remember that we don't put the emphasis of maintaining our faith on us. Because even with what Paul said when he said that there's a thorn in his side, he talks about how Jesus' grace is still sufficient enough to sustain him. And what a piece of that speaks to me is that God does not require you to be perfect.
Yep.
God does not require perfection from you in order for him to move in your life because God is perfect. In fact, God requires your weakness. Right? God doesn't want you to be perfect. He doesn't want you to come with perfection to him. He wants you to come to him with your weaknesses,
that's right,
with your challenges, with your struggles, because it's God who saves. It's God who perfects. And the more we kind of sit and think that it relies on us to be perfect in order for us to be complete in our faith, then we've got the whole thing wrong. You see, we take, and that's not to say that we don't do anything with our faith. That's not to say that we don't work on our faith. That's not to say we don't serve, give, get plugged into church. That's not to say any of that. But it goes back to the reason why we do those things.
Yep.
You know, the reason why we serve, the reason why we do the things that Jesus told us to do is because we're so thankful for what Jesus has done to us that we just live our life in devotion to him.
That's right.
You know, it's not because we're trying to prove ourselves to Jesus. It goes back to saying like, Jesus, I just want to serve you because of how good you are. And so I think once you kind of meet that, saying like, it's not dependent on my service, but my service is what motivates me, or my devotion to Jesus is what motivates you to service.
Your actions,
right?
Yeah.
I think that's once you kind of get those two together is when you see the awesome feeling of being complete in your faith.
That's when you have the peace in him. When you can get to that point. I love what Nikki says. She said, basically, you're saying the journey to Venti status is what it's all about.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's like, you know, you're going to get there, and you're going to feel some days you're going to feel tall, some days you're going to feel Venti. But if you're just sitting there living at a tall, what Jake was saying, you've got to operate in your faith. If not, you're going to just sit there at a tall the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel very unfulfilled. And that's a good sign that you're not living or even journeying towards that full capacity. So, man, that's such great questions. And then I saw it was Matt Marston's birthday, so we probably should give a shout out. Oh, Matt Marston.
Happy
dude.
birthday,
Happy
Matt.
birthday, Matty.
I texted you earlier today, but happy birthday, Matt. I love you. You're the man.
So which one is who's a better dancer?
Oh, that comes
Jake,
from
Phil, or
Garrett.
Chris. So who's a better dancer?
I am a terrible dancer.
Which probably means you're the best.
No. Mm-mm.
Well, okay, so you saw me on stage. Where I don't know, it was some
You
camp.
saw me on
I was
stage.
terrible. You did better than me.
I
think.
twerked.
That's true. I didn't even know what a twerk was.
Mine was off. Well, mine wasn't twerking. It was just vibrating
Oh,
on
that's
stage.
that's why I didn't know what it was, because you weren't twerking.
No.
Yeah, I don't know who's the best dancer. I'm just gonna say Chris. Let's give Chris.
Chris
that.
definitely,
We-
because like we saw him dance at Big Stuff.
Yeah,
so
he's taller.
I definitely think it's Chris.
Yeah, he's got the fit physique. I mean, he looks like a dancer. I mean, there's
He does.
no way. There's no way. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. He's got the big feet. Anyway,
for sure.
I'm trying to think what else. Bass. Yep. Who's the better dancer?
There's another good question that came in. What is your advice on not equating full capacity with objective achievements?
Oh wow. So I think that goes back to the peace in him, not the peace in us. If you're doing objective achievements, I mean, that's things that you're achieving, right? Those are things that you're accomplishing, and while those are great, and man, you should work towards them. And there are so many things that I've achieved and I am super proud of. But at the end of the day, once that feeling's gone, it's like, okay. And then I find myself failing again, and I question everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have to keep our focus on what Jesus said. Like, you will face challenges, but you will have peace in me. And that means our focus through all of this, through our achievements, all those great things. Because yes, God, I mean, Jesus didn't we're not here to be lazy. So he wants us to achieve and do awesome things in this world. And those are great, and they should be celebrated. But man, make sure when you even achieve those things that you give credit to him, because he's the one that's given you the ability and the faith to do it. So as long as you don't put it on you, you start trying to find peace in you, and you try to fix everything yourself and think you can do everything yourself. That's when you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So peace in him, those two words are so important. So that's just how I would answer that one. I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just the way. Whenever I start thinking, "Yay, Phil," that's when I find out, "Wow, Phil." That's not great, and then I have to be reminded in that humility that it's all about Jesus.
I could not agree more with what you just said. For those of you who have ever heard of Joel Houston, Joel was one of the founding guys of one of my favorite worship bands, Hillsong United. Hillsong United.
Hey, he had red hair.
No, blonde hair. It's like dirty blonde.
So it's red.
Yeah, I guess.
It looked like me.
No.
Okay, keep going.
He's tall and.
Oh no. Okay, never mind.
So I mean,
thinking of another Hillsong. I don't know. Keep going.
I don't know.
All right.
But anyways, I watched Joel give a message a few years ago that has stuck with me ever since, and it was all about what you just said. Once you start thinking "Yay me" is when you really find out the "Wow me" moments. And so what Joel said that kind of stuck with me was God has a process of bringing us back to a humble place to realize exactly how much we need him.
And by process, go back and read the first verses of John 16.
Yeah.
You will be kicked out. You may be killed. You will be scattered. He will bring challenges to make sure that we realize that our peace is in him.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to he allows those things to happen in our lives so that we realize exactly how much we need him. Joel told this story about how he was the man that was kind of involved with everything with Hillsong. So not only was it just Hillsong United, because that was kind of his project that he came up through their youth group when he was young, and then he turned them into this just amazing professional recording worship band that has won Grammys. I mean, they're just phenomenal.
Amazing.
Joel has written some of the best worship songs ever that we all sing every single weekend in church. And he talked about not only was he doing all of that stuff, but he was also doing everything for anything production-wise for their church. So even Hillsong Conference, which is their big production. It's the worldwide conference that they do. If it was on a screen, in audio, on a video, any type of creative idea, Joel was the man who was behind all of it. So he directed everything, not just the worship. It was everything was Joel. And then he said it was just right before Hillsong Conference happened, Joel had to go into vocal reconstruction surgery to where he couldn't speak for 6 weeks. And in the middle of that 6 weeks was Hillsong Conference. And it was mandatory. If he didn't do it, he was going to lose his voice forever. And then it was also he was put on a mandatory leave of absence from everything that he was doing because the doctors didn't want him to lose his voice. They didn't want him to overwork himself. And so God had brought him to this place of just being doing nothing, from doing everything to thinking this show is all about me, and then bringing him down to a place where it was no.
He can't even talk.
He can't even talk. And then not only to mention the biggest production that they do every single year was happening in the middle of all this. And I remember what Joel said. Joel said he was sitting in the front row at Hillsong Conference while all of it was going on, and he just saw everything. He sees it all happening, and he's sitting here thinking, I had nothing to do with any of this. This was everybody else around me, even though I was the man who was putting all of this on. And he said he felt God speak to him in that moment. And this is what I'll never forget. God told him, Joel, I don't need you. I don't need you. but I want you.
Yep.
You know? And so it goes back to you're trying to do all these things, and your motivation may be great. Your motivation may be that you want to serve Jesus. But once you start putting it all on you, it is when it kind of all goes awry. And Joel had another saying in that phenomenal message where he was talking about the song Amazing Grace. And it was like, the process of redemption, and then when we mess up again and God humbles us again, and then we're redeemed again because of all the things we do wrong. And Joel had a thing where he was like, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me, until I mess up again and I'm back on my knees.
That's right, dude. No, seriously.
And it was like, it's this big circle. So I think, once we start chasing objectives rather than chasing Jesus is where we mess up. Because chasing Jesus is what leads us to do things, not the other way around. We don't do things to chase Jesus.
True there. Well, cool, man. Well, we are at 8:31. So right now, what I'm hoping...
we got an answer to the shoe size.
What's Chris's shoe size?
So the highest I saw on here was 13. Mm-hmm. Chris just texted me 4 minutes ago or something like that, 4 or 5 minutes ago. It's a 15. Chris wears a 15.
I was one off.
Yeah, you were 1 off.
15.
I was like 12 off.
Dude, that's huge.
It's a 27.
Dude, 20. Well, I mean, is that a real 27? So, I hope that by now you've stuffed your face with a lot of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I hope by now that somebody in your group is soaking wet from the water bucket challenge. And I hope you got someone to video that.
We actually already got some videos coming in.
We already got some videos coming in. Make sure you tag us with those challenges. Dude, this is the last night. Do you have anything to say?
I have something to say, and I want you guys at home to say some stuff too. Not only is this the last night of the challenge, but as we said before, this is our man Phil's last night here at Impact. This is his last Impact event. He's going back to teach. What I want to say, and I want you guys to say in the comments how much Phil has meant to you, that you're going to miss Phil. Let's get some clapping emojis for Phil up in here.
All 22 people.
All 22 people watching. But hey, that's groups too.
Oh, that's
groups.
True. That is true.
It's groups of people.
That is true.
So let's get some clapping emojis. Tell Phil that you love him. Phil, I just want to say, personally, the last 4 years of having you here at Impact have been a blast. We've gotten to just dream and do some incredible stuff, and you have been so much fun to work with. Like, every time we sit down to just dream and come up with crazy ideas, it's always something that comes out of your mouth that we're like, hold on, that was a magic idea.
Or hold on, don't say that again.
Pull that. Yeah, that happens
You can't say
too.
that here.
It's like, hold on, Phil. But then also, like, Phil will say something that's just magical, and then, like, he almost moves on. You would almost move on from it. Like, you would forget that you said it, and then I would be like, wait, come back. This is cool. And, like...
Perfect example was the Saran wrap.
Dude, Saran wrap
And then he
came
took it
out
to
of
the
this
next
guy,
level.
and we just took it to... so you guys know of Fallout? Like, Fallout is one of our signature events here at Impact. Fallout was something that just, like, spewed out of this guy's mouth randomly when we're trying to name stuff, and now it's become like a huge thing that people love and look forward to. So Phil, I'm gonna miss you, man.
It's been
a great, phenomenal ride. And I mean
appreciate
that.
it, man. It's been awesome, and I don't know how many people are watching or whatever, but seriously, it's been a blast. I hope you guys have been impacted as much as I have been impacted by you guys. All the dudes in here operating the cameras, everyone has been just fantastic. So, man, I just wish nothing for the best. I'll be y'all's biggest cheerleaders in the future, man. I just hope that this room is filled. Oak Ridge is filled. Jamestown, when y'all build y'all's massive campus, it's even bigger than this one. I hope it's filled up, man. I wish nothing but the best, and thanks, dude, for everything.
Absolutely, man.
Except for the sub. That's the only thing I'm not going to thank you for.
Yeah, well, that was your idea, so.
No. Was?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
See, that's one of those ideas
happens.
I should have shut up.
You put us in a room and we just come up with
That's true.
terribly great ideas.
That is true.
Terribly great ideas.
All
well,
right.
guys, it has been an amazing 3 days. We're so thankful that you guys stuck around, hanging out with us here for Q&A. Guys, text Phil. Tell him how much you love him. Tell him how much you're going to miss him. This has been so much fun. And that's really all I got to say.
That's it, man. Hey, until next year, when hopefully you guys will be going to a real camp instead of virtual.
That's right.
we'll see y'all then.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to do this again, but this has been so much
This
fun.
has been a blast. So we're gonna do it some more. I think that's what you guys said. You're gonna continue doing some discussion and stuff. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, we would love to. We would love to.
Perfect.
We're gonna see what the future holds. Maybe this has opened up some new
Look,
opportunities for us.
Kenneth's like, are you guys just gonna stop at some point? All right.
No, we're just gonna keep talking all night.
We're just gonna keep talking tonight. All right. Well, we're gonna go off air, but we will continue talking. So peace, easy. Hope y'all have enjoyed the challenge, and man, just have fun with each other right now, and then go home.
That's right. Peace out.
Peace.